Tormented Souls is a brand new game that feels like it came out 20 years ago, and that's the whole point. It scratches the classic survival horror itch like no other indie game. Some people will feel that it goes too far even. The developers are uncompromising in their dedication to the classics. On the Steam page, they state that the game is inspired by Resident Evil and Alone in the Dark. And that's definitely true, but there is unmistakable Silent Hill inspiration throughout as well. I'm going to start with the positives. The level design is top-notch, at least within the confines of this genre. The way you navigate through the game feels serpentine and rewarding, with shortcuts opening at just the right times to make you go, aha! Most of the puzzles are genuinely clever and left me feeling really impressed. I don't want to spoil any of that. That would ruin your impression. Just trust me, a lot of them are really good. And the soundtrack is surprisingly good too. Like the best in the genre, it handles the serene and the unnerving with equal grace. My favorite track from the game is looping right now. Some tracks are Resident Evil save room-esque, and some are more industrial, like the Silent Hill combat music. And it's all good stuff. The controls are almost identical to the Resident Evil 1 Remake Remaster, and that's a good thing. Tank controls on the D-pad and modernized controls on the analog stick, and you can move between them seamlessly. There's a quick turn, and there's a little Resident Evil Outbreak style dodge, like Alyssa has. When you aim, you lock onto enemies, but you can't move when you shoot or reload, and that forces tactical combat decisions, just like the classics of this genre. Now, as for the bad stuff, thankfully there's not a lot of it. Remember I said most of the puzzles were clever? There's a couple towards the end that are not so clever, and one of them's rage-inducing. There's one puzzle in particular that involves a television, and the channel dial on the television, and it took my friend and I an hour. It took us about 10% of this entire playthrough just to figure out how to do it. You're left to not only solve the puzzle, but to figure out exactly what the puzzle even is. There are very few hints. It hints that you must arrange some images in an order that tells a story. The problem is, almost any order can tell a coherent story. And on top of that, are you supposed to move the dial left, right, left, right, left? Right, left, right, left, right? Some other order? Are you supposed to turn the TV off at any point? You can. You can turn it on and off. No way to know. You just try everything, I guess. It's possible we missed a hint, but we were thorough. I'm a lifelong veteran of this genre. I'm used to its shenanigans, but that puzzle was bad, and it brought the whole game down. It reminded me a little bit of something that might have been in Silent Hill 3 on hard riddle mode, where it goes maybe just a little bit too far in that just cryptic direction. Now, the dialogue and the delivery, that stuff's delightfully wooden. I really enjoyed it. But the story itself is not all that interesting. You'll probably figure it out long before the game holds your hand and tells you what you already know. And then the final boss fight is a little underwhelming. It made me think of Silent Hill Downpour, which is not the first Silent Hill that I want to be reminded of. And the ending itself is abrupt and unrewarding. The enemy models are cool, but there are only about 5 enemy types in the game. After 8 hours or so, you'll wish for more and never get them. But thankfully, the coolest enemy design shows up towards the end. There's a really atmospheric, creepy area. Some good, naturally occurring jump scares toward the end. Not manufactured, but just stumbling across enemies in the dark and being startled because of it. It's good stuff. And overall, Tormented Souls is recommended only to those who really love classic survival horror, because that is exactly who it's made for. I would like to thank the developers for their uncompromising vision. GG, guys. GG.